In this next video, I'm going to cover the goblet squat and the counterbalance squat. Now the goblet squat is a lovely regression for moving on to back squats and front squats because it teaches a more upright posture as well as letting you sink in between your legs to perform the squat. The counterbalance squat is a kind of a cousin of the goblet squat because it just allows you to sink into that squat a little bit more by giving you more assistance with the counterbalance, which requires less mobility. So the counterbalance squat first, I'm going to hold the load near my chest, and then as I descend, I'm just going to push the weight out in front of me. In terms of feet, I tend to like 11 and 1, but just find whether feels comfortable. There's no exact prescription, everyone's hips are different. And as you descend into the bottom of the squat, you're going to push the weight out in front of you, and then as you come up tall, you're going to pull it back in. The key things we're looking for here is that as you descend, we're looking for the feet to stay flat on the floor, so we shouldn't start to see any heels rising. Equally, we shouldn't see the knees starting to cave in as we go down. This is why I like a deliberate tempo, so 3 seconds on the way down and coming up at a comfortable pace. So 3, 2, 1, and then coming up at a comfortable pace. So that 3-second tempo, so that 3, 2, 1, just allows me to focus on keeping my feet gripping the ground and making sure my knees aren't starting to do any funky Michael Jackson-esque type of things. In terms of the goblet squat now, so once the counterbalance squat is feeling easy or our mobility is starting to improve, a way I like to do the goblet squat is to have someone start in the bottom position. If this weight is heavy enough, it can actually act as a counterbalance in the bottom position. I'm then going to ask the person to use their elbows to take their knees out a little bit. From here, they can then curl the weight up to their chest. This is why it has to be relatively light. I'm looking for 2 points of contact with the dumbbell or the kettlebell. So the top part and the middle part, both touching the chest. Knees are already spread out. And then from here, I stand up. Now what I'm going to do is squat back down, elbows inside knees, pop the weight on the floor. I can take a deep breath out here if I feel comfortable to. And then I'm going to use the elbows to wedge the knees open again, curl the weight back up, 2 points of contact, and then stand up. What that 2 points of contact does is it stops us getting into a position where the weight is off the chest, so this is going to make it a lot more difficult. And equally, when we're in this bottom position where our knees are out, you'll see my spine is flat rather than being hunched over trying to hold the weight too far out, or equally rather than simply leaning back too far and losing my balance with it. So remember, we're going to curl the weight up, elbows pushing the knees out, and then stand up. With either of these, 2 to 3 sets of 5 to 10 reps. Again, as you start to feel your mobility improve, you can either lessen the counterbalance or you can simply add load to the goblet squat because we're strengthening arms, core, upper back muscles, and it's helping us stay upright. The goblet squat has to be one of my favourite squatting teaching tools. I would much prefer you do a 20 kilo goblet squat before you make your way onto the bar because it will just make things a hell of a lot easier.